to Anissimo.
Anissimo, the only one.
My name's Onésimo, and I'm feeling fantastic.
Where you going,
Sir.
Danny?
I'm gonna pass it to Danny.
My name is Danny Ramos, and I'm
Danny
feeling
Ramos.
I'm feeling well rested today.
Right, yeah, your birthday was yesterday. I saw that post with that drink.
Happy birthday, brother.
He's
Thank you.
21 now. His uncle can't say nothing to him. He's 21 now.
I'll go ahead and pass it to
Ingrid.
No, to Nisa.
Ingrid
already went.
Nisa.
Nisa. Nisa?
Oh, I am excited, and I'm Nisa.
And I'll follow her for her. We'll go to our wrong group.
Hello, Rick. I'm excited this morning.
Excited, all right. And let me see. That would be everybody, if I'm not mistaken. I'm missing. Oh, that's Jerry.
This is Jonathan. I'm Black Taffy.
Jonathan Black Taffy. Jonathan Jerry next. Jerry on? All right. Well, Jerry, when he come on, we want to hear his one-word check-in. Mr. Nelson.
Rashawn. Rashawn.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Fantastic.
Rashawn, I finally made Rashawn.
How you doing?
One word, how you feel?
Studious, coachable.
Coachable, okay. I like that.
Pass me your word.
Pass me right. Oh, look at that pretty baby.
I'm Taylor Slay, and my one word is vigilant.
All right.
I think that's everybody. I don't know. Did I miss somebody?
No.
I think that's everybody. Let's go ahead. Proceed. So today, one of the things we're going to do today is we're going to go over our ecosystem.
Hold on. Mute everybody's phone. Wait. Mute everybody else. Mute their phone. Mute what? Mute.
I believe you skipped out on Miguel.
Oh, Miguel, one word. Miguel.
What up? My name is Miguel, and I feel amazing.
Okay, amazing. We'll take
What's
that.
up, Rashid?
Hey, right now, mute your phone. Everybody, mute your camera, mute your phone. Mr. Nelson, this will be turned on to Mr. Nelson, and Sister Ingrid and Larry will take it from here. Go ahead, Mr. Nelson.
Okay, this is the process. Everybody went through or should have gone through the onboarding process. In the context of the onboarding, you should have had some video tutorials that kind of guided you through our ecosystem. However, our technological team is so fantastic, they done modified it since I made the tutorials. So they don't bring you kind of up to date on how to navigate that ecosystem so that we can begin the process. And congratulations to Mr. Clark, because he has gotten our contract confirmed. We are ready to go to work. Yeah.
They approved it today. I mean, they approved it last night, and I'll sign it on Tuesday, but we got it.
Okay. So then we definitely need to know exactly how to do with the work that we're getting ready to do. So with that said, I'm going to pass it to Larry and or Ingrid, whichever one of you would like to facilitate this segment.
Hold up. Before you do that, Mr. Nelson, tell a little bit more about what they do and then give them to us. Could you?
Okay. Well, let me do this right quick because I forgot to do this. This is one of the things we're going to try to make it a habit to do on an ongoing basis. I'm going to share my screen momentarily. And one of the things we said we were going to do is go over one more check-in, do the new business and the old business. We said that we were going to kind of dedicate this time frame to Larry and Ingrid, but for the items that were on this agenda you will find inside the shared staff document, shared drive. So as we go forward, we need to make sure we're taking the active steps on each one of the action items that we have on this agenda. We will give reports, but since there's so much detailed information that Larry and Ingrid have to go over today, we don't want to really encumber the time much more. So with that said, I'm going to give you this introduction. Larry and Ingrid are second to none in the area of technological advancement. Larry has actually been instrumental in developing the kind of software platforms that are used by the likes of YAP, Youth Advocacy Program, which is a national entity. He was instrumental in helping them develop their back office, and he's assisted him and Ingrid have created our back office. we operate on a Zoho platform, so they're going to kind of guide you through how you go through to access the registration forms, the attendance, and the deltas. They may have some other bells and whistles that I know not of, but with that said, I'm going to pass it to Ingrid or Larry.
All right, good to see you guys again. Welcome to the new ones. Glad to have you for this year. So Larry's going to share his screen, and we're going to start out just on the Fort Worth MBK homepage. For
Should we
those
go?
if you want to follow along, you can go there. We're going to share out the screen so you can see it, and we'll walk you through it. So, but whatever is best for you. If you want to pull it up on your phone while you go through on your computer, you could do that too. I tried to make sure it was all very mobile friendly. So as you're at the school and going, you could still keep track of your data.
Okay.
Okay, good. So if you go to fwmbk.com, that's the website. For those that didn't know, when you first get there, you see your resources, some team bios, a donate page, and then log in. Without logging in, you can still register a student. So we can go through the registration form real quick just so everyone is familiar with how easy it is to register a student and the basic information you would probably need to either facilitate with the parent on how to fill it out or send the parent this link and ask them to fill it out. You have both those options. So we can go into the registration form, and it's divided into 3 sections. So the first section is just the basic student information, and we can just put a test user in, so we'll be able to advance to the next pages. Student ID is required, so that's also used to track the student throughout our system. So it's important that they have that. The school is a drop down. You can just select whichever school you're talking about that MBK is serving. And then, yeah, you don't have to because not. The phone number, email, what grade level they are, their date of birth, and then for program, you can select whether it's MBK or MSK. So instead of asking for gender, we're just enrolling them in either or, and that's the way we distribute the data by program.
Does that applies for the middle school as well, like we did last year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So for grade level, you could choose all the way through K through 12, and then in the schools, you can select from high schools and middle schools.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. And then t-shirt size, then their commitment level. These are the same 4 question statements that we've been using. They select to agree with those. That way you have a commitment from the student, their participation, and going to meet those expectations for the program. Then they can sign here digitally using a mouse. If you're on your phone, you can use your finger. On the tablet, the finger works. You just click to select the box, and then it lets you type in. Then you can go to next, and it'll bring you to this next page, and this is all about parent information. So you're getting the parent name, their relationship to the student, because it could be a guardian, their email address, phone, address, and that's not mandatory. And then we can go to the last page, which is all about permissions and waivers. This is where you find the taxi consent. This is very important for the program to protect you as facilitators interacting with the students. So please make sure as the parent fills out these forms that this is done. And this is really why facilitators can't register students on their own, because it's very vital to have these documents for each student that you're engaging with.
Ingrid, quick interjection. If I'm correct, that the consent form is one that if there's any information that we may have a tendency to use in doing promotions, if the parent does not consent to that, we can't use any of the images or any of the information with those students. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. It's confirming.
Okay, very good. All right. And then the parent can sign right there, just like the student did, and put the date that they're filling that out. And once you press submit, the student is now going to be registered inside of our database. There's a second step before you'll be able to search students because of the way we did the sign-in sheets and everything this time. So in addition to this, when the student registers from the facilitator side and we know which schools each one is assigned to and which students are like on your caseload, you're that main facilitator or contact, we'll have those built out into this app. And let's let's pull up the app part real quick to show the. This is just on the administration side, but I want you guys to be able to see how the classes will be for you to be able to do your sign-in sheet. So for each school location, we'll have which facilitators are there, the times that they're there, and the students that will be checking in present when they come do the sessions. And I don't know if you're doing that virtually, but it'll work the same way.
I don't see that on here.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is coming. We're logging in.
Oh,
And you
okay.
guys will not have to log in, just for the facilitators. Yes. You won't have to log in this way. I'm just showing you what a school profile will look like so you'll understand how the student registration comes in and populates it and how the facilitator information will populate the form.
Okay.
And this, just ties into how important it is to have a complete application. And if for some reason when you're filling out the sign-in sheet and you don't find a student, then just let the support team know because something may be off. Maybe they didn't select the right school, or we don't have them on your roster for that school. So
Ingrid,
yes.
the button that they will push in order to get to this window, is it going to be on the dashboard, the drop opening page or landing page?
It's going to be inside the website where we just were once they log in.
Okay.
Yep.
And John,
easy to get
I have
to.
a question.
Go ahead, John.
Okay. Just pull up a school.
Go ahead, John.
My question, I just want to make sure I didn't miss something. As she went from the first part she completed to the second part, she was saying about the sign-in. Was the parent? Did I miss that the parent digitally signed it, or we not gonna have to? I haven't heard no paperwork, so I'm assuming that we not gonna. There's that the parents digitally signed something. I just missed that part, or if I was looking away or something.
Yeah, the parent can digitally sign it with her finger, but after this stuff has been done, I'm sure that we'll be able to print it so we can have a print copy and a digital copy. I think. I don't know, but once it's in the system and Fort Worth ISD have it, they can give it to us. Am I correct?
Yes, that's correct. We can export anything out of the system that you would need. If you want to receive a PDF of the registration form, we can do that and send that to someone. That's possible too, if that's what you're asking, something that's easy to print out for each
I think
student
that
as
would
they
be.
register.
I think that's what he's asking. And my follow up to that would be just so say for instance, like if I met a student and I'm not with the parent, I'm not on the phone with the parent. When I input their information, does it push out an email to them that lets them into the system to sign it, or how does that go? I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that specific.
No, the parent needs to be filling out the form.
Okay.
For the parent to fill out the form. Yes. I would not encourage you to fill that out yourself because you won't be able to sign for them. So if you're helping a student,
Can I say something on that? I know last year what happened, we had a lot of the students' signatures, and what happened, we didn't have the parent signatures. So by the time the mid semester came, and it was time to do the report, we didn't have those signatures, so it was like a big jam for everybody to try to run and get these signatures. So this year, after I talked to Robert and them and Ricky, they were saying, "No, let's just the parent need to fill out. The parent and the student need to be filling it out. We have a way for you to fill it out, but we would prefer that the student and the parent fill out the form, or technically you're not even supposed to work with them until you get all of that information."
That's right.
All right.
So, Mr. Larry, what I'm saying is,
Right.
I just sent my only way to get them to the application is just to send them to the website. There's no way for me, like you saying, to send like a sign, like push to their email, like boom, sign up for MBK, and then it just takes them to the application. Because a lot of what we do is, like you saying, is like the parents not gonna be the ones filling out the application. They just
Let me interject, Jonathan. Let me interject because I can ask you a question. There is a letter that I drafted last week, and I'm going to get it to Sergio Busto so that he can translate it into Spanish as well. That letter will have the exact language that you may use to send to that individual student. The link in that letter will take them to that landing page. That is the sole position where they do their registration. That is the exclusive position where they will do their registration. But that letter will help you if you want to push them to them. You can push them that letter.
I have a question. So if I'm understanding what Jonathan is saying, I think the breakdown is, how do we systematically get parents to do it? Do we depend on the child to get the information to the parent, or do we have a direct way to contact the parent to get that process taken care of?
Let me address that. I'm going to give you a letter, and I'm going to give you access to the database of all the students. So the students that are in your school, you can begin to communicate with them. In the context of the letter, it stipulates that if we don't have current information, that we need to update that data. So this is going to be your systematic way for getting the information to the students so that they can register. But they will register on the website. Go ahead, Rick.
Can I add to it? And so I'm saying we're going to focus on the ones that we already got registrations for, right? So we'll register the ones that we had, 300 and something first. So those are the ones that we have their information, we have their emails. But if it has changed, in any way, then we would have to find another way of getting that information. So the district has already sent us an updated information on the kids. So everybody in their school, we got their parent and their information.
Gotcha.
Can I make a comment real quick? I feel like we need to send it to them via email, and if we have those parents' phone numbers, we need to text the link to them. You know what I'm saying? Just like today, when we put the text message out, when that link was text to the text message, it was easier for everybody to get in on this call.
So I agree with
if we could send the link to their to their phone to where they could just click it and go to the registration, then you know what I'm saying, that's another avenue that we can go down. So we don't want to just have it in email. You know what I'm saying? We need to explore all avenues.
All right.
Could I add to that? With what bro was saying, there's students and parents use it to get reminds from teachers. It's called Remind, and it like basically sends out text messages from this app.
Right. So we're gonna have this information. It's gonna be given to the school. The school's gonna help us send it out, and we're gonna send it out. So we will be able to do it that way. I think we got to keep moving. And can we hold some of the questions towards the end? So write them down, and we'll get to the chat box.
In the chat, yeah.
Go ahead, Larry.
Go ahead.
Okay, great. And those are great questions too, because it gets down to the actual factual of not just what we're doing, but how. That's good. So this is like a school profile, just to show you on the back end. We will have the the school name, the days that the facilitator is at the school, and then that will populate the classes that you're there. Like it used to be lunch period 1, lunch period 2. If you're setting up Zoom calls on Tuesday and Wednesday, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that's what this schedule will be. And then the students that are on your roster at that particular school will populate here based on their registration.
I like that.
Okay, cool. So we can go back to the site now, and we're going to log in.
Okay.
So we understand that parents do not have to log in or anything. Right there on that front page is the register student button. They just click that. So when you log in, make sure you log in with Google.
Mm-hmm. And I suggest Google Chrome, because I'll be jacking it. Chrome works very well.
Yeah. And Chrome is a good browser to use. Maybe we should show that login with Google button. So we're going to go back and show you the login button, because I want to be sure Ricky is right that Google Chrome is a good browser to use. And I want to be sure you also click the login with Google button. Yep. So at the top, you'll see a blue sign in with Google. You don't want to put in a username and password. That's going to log you into the back end and you'll get like an error. It won't work. So please make sure you are signing in with Google. And the Google account you will use is your FWMBK email address.
Right.
Okay. And it's your email address, your password, just like you were logging into your Gmail.
Right.
Okay. So now that you've logged in, up above in the menu, now you have the FWMBK manager. This manager page is where you will go to do all your work.
That's right.
So click on the FWMBK manager, and that only becomes visible once you log in. So if you don't see that button in your menu, make sure you're logged in and make sure you're logged into the right Google account. You want to sign in with Google. So on the FWMBK Manager, you can access quick links to your whole Google Suite. With your FWMBK email address, you have access to the full nonprofit Google Suite, which includes Google Docs, which is just like Microsoft Word. You have Google Sheets, which is like Microsoft Excel. And you have Google Slides, which is like the Microsoft what did it used to be called? PowerPoint. Microsoft PowerPoint. And then you have a Meet button, which is like what we're doing today to set up a Google Meet. And then the classroom. I know Robert was working hard putting in courses, and now I think we've elevated even to an actual MBK online school. So we may not be using the Google Classroom that much, but nevertheless, you may want to do something with your caseload and set up some, lessons that go along with what you're talking about and encourage them to come into the class and complete some work or something. You have all that available to you. Google Forms. We don't have a quick link here for that, but you can go to Google Forms and create easy forms for things that you're trying to do. Okay, and then you have a calendar here. This is connected to the Fort Worth MBK staff calendar. So as you put in community events or classes that you're having, it will show everybody what the schedule is. So at all times you can see where people are, which school, all that information. And then to the right, you have your tracking tools. And the main four we're going to talk about today are the 4 buttons right here for facilitators. These are the same as last year. You have your touch point form, which is used whenever you engage with a student or a parent, even a teacher or anyone at school. If you're talking to someone that has to do with this program, everyone would love to hear about it. So that would be a touch point. Then you have your Delta. When you have your sessions and classes, the Delta form helps you think about what you did well, what went really well, and then what did not work, what you could do better. Because the idea is, this is also building a portfolio for you, a cycle of your training and what you can offer. So this helps you even perfect that. So the next time you do that lesson, you're sure to bring those other materials or, whatever that may be. And then the sign-in sheet is how you keep track of who attends the sessions that you do. And then we've added a new feature, which is a different kind of email sender that will allow you to send messages just to facilitators and to parents. We're kind of testing that to see how that works. It allows you to send an email to a parent from here instead of having to go log into your Gmail, and then we're able to track that better. You would still have to track that touch point as a way that you've engaged the parent, but it might still be easier for you to facilitate that communication with the parent from in here. And that will auto populate based on the information from the student registrations. So it helps you to not have to go look that up.
And can I say also that sign-in sheet, that's a little different from last year, because last year we had a whole different way that you signed, took attendance. This here is going to be pretty much your attendance and everything right there. So you don't have to go to those other pages and print out anything. Everything will be right here. Once you register those students and they register to a school, then that would automatically have their name in that list. You'll see it, and then you'll be able to just pick the students that are in that class. You'll be able to pick them as who's present and who's not. Whoever you don't pick, they're gonna show as not present. So that helps a lot, I think. All right, go ahead.
I have a question. Oh,
Yeah.
I have to wait to the end. I'll write it down. Keep going.
You sure?
Yeah. Well, let me ask you then. Can we record these sessions? Because I think that would be important that we record them. So if we're going to be doing these Zoom calls with the young people, can we record them? And if so, where do we store that?
You can record them at the close of the session. That recording is automatically uploaded onto your Google Drive, whoever the user is that is moderating that session. They get a email letting them know the recording is ready, and it's inside a Google Drive folder the system creates called, I think it's called Google Meet Recordings. And from there, you can share it with other people. One thing, Robert, maybe you guys might want to think about is having a shared folder if you want facilitators to put them in someplace where the admin can access them. I don't know how you want to do that, but that's...
I do want to share a folder. The reason I'm saying that, this is another way of managing what we're doing. So I want to see what's being done. So if you're doing these Zooms call, it's just like the police officer, record it. All right.
Just a real quick comment. I made folders for everybody in the Google Drive.
Okay.
For you to drop your media in your specific folder. So yeah, so everybody has a folder in that Google Drive.
Thank you, Edna.
That is awesome then. So how about if everyone inside of their personal folder, if you just share where the recordings are, share that with the administration team so they would be able to see those, and then you don't have to worry about moving them anywhere else.
I like that. All right. Thank you, Ingrid.
You're welcome. So if there's not any more questions just about this page, this is really the sum of the manager page. We can dive into the forms and make sure those are clear. These admin buttons are for the administration team to get into the back end of Zoho. You do have access to the Zoho Analytics button. That'll take you to a live dashboard where you can see charts on how many touch points have been done, how many students are registered. Yeah, so we could look at that too. And then we've also published the reports from last year. Those are available to flip through.
Let me say something about the Zoho Analytics. I've seen that. I think that's really great. And to me, for the staff, we've talked about it last year, but this will show aggregation. It will show that you're working with these young folks, right? So if you're not showing any aggregation on the Zoho, we know nothing's being done. We're managing ourselves and unseen. I made a comment, and I'm not gonna. I'm taking it back. I made the comment at a training that I hate managing people, and I regret saying that. But with that said, this helps manage our people, and so I really like this, and it's important that we put that in there. So I hope y'all heard me. I hope you heard me, Unseen. I really did. I've been thinking about that ever since I said that. That's really strong. And so I have to speak impeccable. Don't take it personal. Don't assume, and work hard. So I'm saying that to say I like that part of the management system because it helps us manage ourselves, so we can see it being done. So that's what I wanted to say.
Can I ask a quick question? Say, for instance, if you're working with a student and you try to get a message to mom to sign the consent form, she goes on and sign it. Does it send a message to you to say, "Hey, you don't have to track her down anymore because okay, we have her signature"?
Yes. It don't send a message to you, but you can look in the dashboard and see that she filled out her application.
Okay.
Yes, you'll be able to see that the student has now successfully registered. I wanted to go to this page to show you. So right now it's empty.
That's right.
We just have one test student registered, Jane 5. So when when the parent goes in and fills out the form, successfully submitted, it'll start to populate your list of students here. And then it'll start filling in all the other information that comes from your forms. So like, for example, we can bring up last year. And you see with last year's data populated inside, you can see all the different schools by grade, how many are registered there, and then all of their information is right here in this section. So just as a check, when you're getting ready to follow back up with your parents, you're trying to see who is in, you can come into the live page and check and see. You can search. If I'm just looking for Mark, I could put in Mark's name and, you know, it comes up if something is connected to that. I'm not sure what that was finding. But, oh, in the email address, they use Mark right there. Well, so you can search and sort by school. You could sort by date, by grade. You have all of that capability inside you. Yes. And these are your touch points. It'll show by facilitator. So, you know, that's very clear. And then by type, this is interesting to see the majority of phone calls versus video calls.
Like
and yeah, by text and all of that. And again, this comes from the forms that you fill out. So the more information you give on the forms, the better data we have to look at.
Love it.
So hopefully in about a month, now that the contract's been approved, your 2020 dashboard will look like this.
Right. That's right. Very so.
Okay,
Man,
so
that's dope. That's dope.
Thank you.
That is dope, dope, dope.
Thank you. So let's start. We'll start with the touch point. And we tried to keep it very simple so you can kind of move through these quick. We understand you might be dealing with multiple schools and multiple students. So the staff, it'll let you search through all the facilitators so you can just find your name there and select that. Again, it's going to look at the students that are registered. So right now, all we can see is Jane 5. And if you wanted to be able to communicate with that student, like send a copy of this, you can add their email address here. And then the date of the touch point, if it was during school hours or outside of school hours, I think that can still apply during COVID, even if they're not at school, just so they can kind of see, is it during the day, you know, or evening hours. And then the type of who the touch point was, if it was one-on-one with the student, was it a parent, somebody at the school, or other. And then the type, video, call, text, email, got a couple others in there. And then the result of that touch point, like what you guys talk about, is there anything you need to remember to follow up with? Because again, you'll be able to see this information on the dashboard. So this helps you make notes. If you provide any additional support services to them, And if you referred them to an outside agency, maybe they needed something else, and you made a recommendation from your partner list or something, this is where you can note what that is and list who they are and the result of that referral. And then you press submit, and this form will then populate that dashboard that we were looking at.
Ingrid, we can do this on our phone, right?
And yes, you can do this on the phone. It is very mobile friendly. That's kind of why it looks a little spaced out on this page, because it's really made for you to be able to pull it up on your phone. And the next step is for MBK to be able to go ahead and turn it into an app, and then you can just have it on your phone right there.
We need to get us an app. So
Yes.
I want to talk about that, Larry.
Okay, so that's pretty much how all the forms are. The Delta, you see the same kind of setup. Put in your
on the phone too.
I'm sorry.
You can do your Delta on your phone too.
Yes, all of these, all the four that we will.
All right, I'm gonna be quiet.
Yes.
All of them are very mobile friendly. Like she said, that's why they kind of narrow and light on the back end, so you don't see a bunch of graphics. That's because on your phone it just pulls up pretty fast for you.
Thank you, Larry.
So you put in the date, the start time of your session, how long it was, what was the session? Was it like a class session? Did you just have a meeting, or was it an event or something else? You can select your name again, the staff that's putting in, and the campus that it was, which school it was. What did you discuss? Your topic, what worked, what could have been done better, and considering those things that could have been done better, what is your plan to change it, or what are you going to try to do to address it? And this just a secret, me personally, and I do love data and stuff like that, but this really does help me, like personally, when I have to go back and do a monthly summary for my superiors and say, what I've done and all of that. It's so much easier to just come back in these forms and see, what went wrong, what kind of changes have I made. That is the best way to report your progress, to say, I learned from this and now I'm trying this. That gets, management excited, because you start to see things happening, or, this student, I'm going to follow up and do this, or I want to open up this door. Those kind of things help you even keep track, so you can remember, what did I do last week that I can report on in this week's staff meeting. Come back and look at who you met with, and that right there is your report, already done.
Sydney. This brother call. I'm on the Zoom
Oh,
call.
I'm sorry. Sign in. Okay, sign in sheet. Now this is, like Larry said, very new. You don't have to put the students' names and all that and wait a long time for us to update the form. All of those issues should now be alleviated. You select your date, and if the date has a class scheduled on that date, like we talked about, you would have to submit your schedule. If you're saying Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or Tuesdays, whatever it is for that school, then if today is one of those days, is Wednesday, it's going to show me what classes are available for Wednesday. So Arlington Heights, I have selected for Monday through Friday as a test. So I can go there, and now the student attendance type comes available. And you select, this was again for non-COVID too, but for virtual, you could select virtual or which lunch period it is. And then the students that are registered for that school will now appear in this present student box, and you can check them. So if they're not there or present on the Zoom call, you just would not check their name. If you don't have names here, those students have not been associated with your school yet, or your school schedule has not been submitted. So those are the things. I'm sure now that everything has been approved and you guys are going to start assigning schools and all that, we'll get that information from Robert and get this updated ASAP. But that this is how you will check students in every time you have a session.
13 minutes, Ingrid.
Okay. Any questions about the sign-in?
No, hold the questions for a second. Go ahead.
Okay.
Y'all type the questions in the chat.
Okay, so this email part is very easy. This is just a basic, I need to shoot a message to a parent or another facilitator real quick, like we talked about. So you select, if it's a parent, it's going to give you the parent names here that are available. You select which parent it is, put in your subject, and you can type your email. In this section, you have the basic editing buttons and send email. It's very simple like that. And when they respond, you will get a message letting you know, and then you can keep the communication going if you know that's what it's about. And that's really it for the 4 different ways that you're tracking data starting out this school year.
I guess now's a good time to open up for questions then, unless you have something else to touch on.
Nope.
I think that was it. So if anybody have any questions, we can talk about that.
No more paper sign in.
No.
I wanted to touch on this. I dropped a link to the letter. Now I've drafted this letter. I'm giving you ownership of this letter. You know, I'm not taking copyright of the letter. I want you to make it your own, right? You're going to send this. I really want to get you engaged in developing relationship with the student and their parents, particularly those of you that are going to be participating in the special ed part of this process. You will notice in that letter, I speak about some of those aspects, but you can customize it to your own heart delight. So if it's not saying the message that you wanted to say, then you can modify it as long as it, fits your personality. But it just covers the basic points of 1, registration, 2, communication, and 3, transformation. That's the objective of doing this thing. So 1, we got to get them ready before we can start playing this game. 2, we got to make sure that we got good lines of communication talking. And I did say, I sent a message to Busso, said he would translate it. But Jerry, you can translate it into Spanish. I know it needs to be translated. That was one of the tasks we had from last week. So it's going to be translated into Spanish. And again, if you have a personal spin on it, you can do that. Put your name at the bottom. Also, there's a database. That database, those of you that already went into the drive and identified which schools you're going to be addressing, when you go to that database, there'll be all the students. So then you can start identifying those that you are responsible for connecting with. Now, even though we can send out something collectively, we do not want to do collective blanket kind of communications and not have a touch point of accountability from a facilitator or a co-facilitator that's supposed to be interacting with that school. So that's why I want you to really take ownership of your communication with the students and their parents. And we'll communicate, make that we need to integrate across MBK wide. But those are the 2 pieces that I did from last week's assignment that you guys can begin to work on and start aggregating or identifying the students that you want to communicate with. Inside of your Google Drive, there is a contact component too. So you can start putting together lists. And if you want to send a message to one school or to all the schools you serve, you can have all the students in that school in that list. So all you got to do is type that in, and then they will actually receive that message, everybody that's on that list. So these are some of the tools that you have that you can use. Rick, you got your hand up. You was getting ready to say something. You got to unmute yourself, though.
And this is what I'm talking about. This is what I need to be done so we can manage it ourselves or know what's going on. It's a management system. That's why I set up that way. But I don't want anybody just sending letters out. Everything we do, if you sent the letter out, it should be inside the G Suite so we know it went out, right? So everything goes out. And Mr. Nelson has a way that we can set it where you can customize a letter where you ain't to be going back and forth. It'll mail it to them, right? So if we follow this and we create this relationship with our students and their parents, with the information, we can send them things, remind them, we can inform them about new things, we can let them know that there's a food shortage, that there's anything going on. So you want the relationship with the parents, and now it has to be electronically. And for most of our parents, that's a good thing because they don't want you all in their business no way. So if I can communicate you electronically, at least we involve, and then when this thing is over, then we'll meet. They'll be like, oh, I enjoy talking to you while this bridge on the computer, but now I'll see you personally. So follow me. That's why we're doing this. And it's the management system. But make sure that everything we do is culturally relevant. So if it's going to an African American or to a Latino, it has to be culturally relevant, but it still needs to be, I don't know the word to use for lack of a better word, it needs to be on the Zoho system. Everything has to be done on the system. I'm done.
I have a question. Ingrid, is there a way where we can actually have like a like a daily agenda on there? Because it's a lot of moving pieces, and I have to see, like, I want to see what's happening on this day. Like today, with the text message, it's about checking in. We have to check in with each other. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to know what Rick doing, what's on Rick agenda today. I want to know what's on Wallace agenda today. I want to know what's on Amon agenda today to see if that may include me and see if I can make that process seamless for you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not about us knowing what everybody's doing. It's about us actually being available to help each other in order to accomplish those things.
Let me interject, Edmund. So Ingrid was going through that whole process.
Right.
There is this calendar that she's showing you is
right
what you see the activity. What you got to be mindful to do is if you put something on your calendar that's just for you, it's not going to show up here. You got to be mindful that if you want anything to be able to be displayed MBK wide so that all the staff sees it, that you put it as a staff activity. That will show up on this screen, and you'll be able to keep track of all the activity from that interaction.
Okay. So let me ask you this. I guess I was thinking more of a think tank. You know what I mean? Like, because that too, you know what I mean, with the to-do list, that exactly what I was talking about, but also a think tank where like I see you put out a lot of ideas, Robert, and I want to know, I guess, like when you come up with those ideas, I think that need to be sent out to like team wide and then see what we can play a part in those ideas so we can make those come to fruition.
Not to interrupt you, Edmund, I'll go back to that. Mr. Nelson has been doing that. He has talked about it last time. Some people didn't get involved in it, but we went back to that. We're talking about putting the mastermind back together, and that will be put on a separate system. But for this right here, only the workings of MBK will be on this page and to help manage our system. But what you're talking about is there. We're talking about there's a working plan for all of us that we'll be filling out, so we'll know where each one of us are. The good thing I like about this system is once you put your schedule in on a weekly basis, I can look at it and see somebody gonna be Tuesday is doing a Zoom call over here, they meeting drums over here. We just look at the system and it just shows you that. If everybody put their stuff in, we don't have to worry about that. Am I correct?
Yeah. Okay.
A tool called Google Keep, and we can use that. It's sitting inside of our G Suite. So Google, once we identify a certain project that we're working on, like the project that you and I are working on, Edmund, we can put that on the tasks that have to be managed in that context of that project and include anybody in that scenario that's a part of that process. So this is all inside our G Suite, and we can use that, but it's something that would be aside from just our interaction with these children. But yeah, that's a good question.
I don't want us to talk about a lot of that. Can we stay focused with Ingrid them? So I want to get this out. I'm sorry. All right, go back, Ingrid. So
I was just I was showing the calendar for Bro. That's a good way to keep everybody on the same page, and Robert Nelson is right. Google Keep is great for keeping like notes or running ideas, and you can share it real easy. We could also add Google Keep as an icon up here in the bar if that's something you'd like to use regularly so everybody can get to it.
Add it to it, Ingrid.
Okay.
He showed me.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I have a question.
Good to see you, brother.
No doubt. Sister, how you doing? What's up, Larry? Anyway, man, I think what bro is touching on or what I'm gathering is that you, Ingrid, Larry, y'all are Mr. Nelson. Well, not necessarily so much Mr. Nelson, but y'all are digital heads, right? So a lot of the language that you talking and how you speaking, you know, is I get it. And if we go through the process, but is there going to be ongoing trainings? And if so, how often would that happen so we can learn this quicker?
Yes.
I mean, what to me, the way I see it is, if you get stuck, you can contact Robert, and then if he can't get it, then we'll just if it's something that look like everybody's stuck on this or something like that, we don't have no problem coming back and running back through it or walking do it until everybody get it, because we need everybody to get it. So if that's what has to happen, that's what has to happen.
Yeah. Larry real good with that. Heck, he called me on the golf course. So I know that Larry.
Can we get like a training on how the information is gonna flow through Google, like with Google Keep and you know what I'm saying, all those things, and how those things work on your mobile phone?
Mr. Nelson can do that.
There will be, like as an example, this session that we just did will be loaded up into the Google Drive. The sessions that I did inside of the onboarding took me a day, maybe a couple of hours to put those pieces together. So anything that you need that's not clearly conveyed here, let us know, and we'll add that inside of the academy. So the academy, there will be a place where this information for the staff is going to be available, but we're going to start using that tool a lot more effectively, because that helps us develop content that ultimately we may help some other MBK chapters use to create the same kind of impact.
Cool.
Oh, I like that page up there. I didn't see that.
Also, we didn't go yet to this page, but this is a resources page that you can get to whether you're logged in or not. So even parents can kind of experience this page. This is where the student assessments are. But all the way at the bottom, like now, Robert, we could connect this to MBK Academy instead of the classroom. But down here, we have some technical help where we've uploaded some easy videos too, and added some links. So this might help. And then just like Robert Nelson said, we'll continue to build out that portfolio. And if you have innovative ideas, we'd love to hear them. And yeah, I love where all of that is going.
Yeah,
I saw that. That's pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I love how it's going.
Ingrid, I got a question on the resources page. Is there any way we can add like resources for parents, like housing assistance, or where they can maybe be able to point them in the right direction for that type of thing? Because I mean, that would actually drive the traffic to the website for those type of things.
Yeah, Robert Nelson, you want to write that down? That's definitely within our capability.
That's what the resource page is for.
Yeah.
Listen, can I bend you back off that too when y'all finish?
Go ahead.
Yeah, 1 minute.
Mr. Clark, I sent Mr. Simeon Henderson your number. He had lost his contacts, but he's I think he would be a good person to help us do our quarterly service provider meetings. And I think when you talk about the resource, that's kind of what Edmund is talking about.
Called me. Called me, Jonathan.
A lot of different service providers. He did call you?
Yeah. While we do talk to him, talk to Gary. Yeah, I got him.
We're gonna have to do a one-word checkout.
Yeah, no, wait. Ingrid, everybody, are we good? I can't run for this hour. Are we good?
You might have to look at the replay.
Mr. Nelson.
How about watch the replay, and next week, if you like, we could be on standby for your staff meeting next week. And if you wanted to do a refresher after you've had a chance to click around and try to dig in it, write your questions down, and if you guys like, we could come back.
Ingrid and Larry, do y'all have like an email address where I can, send ideas and actually ask for advice?
Put it in the chat.
I don't want everybody hitting them up because they'll be overwhelmed.
Yeah, I don't want to do that, Evan.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just working on the media side of things. It would just be a seamless connection for me. That's what I'm kind of thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think we do a one-word checkout.
Wait, I only wanted to say something. So go ahead, Oni. Thank you, Larry and Ingrid. You don't have to hang up yet, but go ahead, Oni.
All right, I just want to let everybody know that I'm working on setting up a Latinx meeting. Training October 3rd. It's a Saturday, so I'm not entirely sure what the times would be. So I'm thinking maybe from 11 to 2, or 11 to 1. Would that work with everyone, or we can go earlier than that?
That'll work.
You might send out a doodle. I'll show you how to do that on, but you can make sure it works with everybody.
Did you hear that, Oni?
I didn't hear it.
You may have to send out a doodle. I'll show you how to do that. So you send out a doodle, you tell them the available time, and then everybody can chime in and say what time is going to work with them. Then you can set the schedule.
Okay, yeah. If you would help me with that, please.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Definitely. But I just want to let everybody know. So October 3rd, Latinx training, we're going to have about maybe 4 or 5 presenters. So we're also going to, I'm hoping to invite any college people that want to be part of My Brother's Keeper that haven't been able to make, that weren't able to make the trainings because they have classes during this time. So I think that Saturday would be best for, younger people that want to be part of My Brother's Keeper that can't make these meetings or trainings. So just want to let everybody know.
Great information. One word checkout.
I'll start off then. My name is Onesimo, and my one word checkout is blessed.
Wallace, inform.
Unseen, powerful.
Robert Nelson, I feel animated. And I also want to mention, I've got it upcoming with Rashawn. And during the course of this conversation, I just indicated that it was a staff meeting, and you will notice that it's showing up on the calendar. So we need to keep each other abreast of stuff that's happening, MBK related. I'm going to pass it to Rashawn. Or maybe not. I don't know what.
No, I'm here now. I would say definitely, man, excited for the information that's been passed. One word, excited.
Yeah, I'll go blessed.
Anybody else?
Edmund.
Jonathan Morrison, bless.
Nisa,
Dudley
excited.
Thurman. Dudley
Nisa
Thurman, interested.
Thurman interested. I'm loving it.
Well, I was very informed. This is Rangu. This was a very informative meeting, and I was very informed. My one word checkout.
Motivated, Edmund.
Motivated.
Ingrid, joyful.
Ingrid's joyful.
Taylor, Larry informed.
Larry's informed. Christian.
All right, my name is Christian. Also feeling very informed. Excited, ready to go for the year.
Oh yeah, all your forms the buzzword for the day.
Yes, sir.
Who did you get? Who did you get? Danny Ramos, yeah?
Wish I had. Dan, I'm feeling great.
Danny's feeling great. Let me see who I skipped.
This is Jerry.
Jerry.
Hey, I feel fantastic.
Fantastic. Jerry, did we get everybody? Wait a minute, Taylor. What happened to Taylor?
Taylor's right here. Helpful.
You feel what now?
Helpful.
Helpful. Okay, all right. Is that everybody? So as we check out, you put your left foot forward and to stomp out evil and protect your heart. Repeat. If you remember this group,
if every member was just like
what kind of group?
What kind
of
group? This group be. Oh, that was weak. That was weak. That was horrible.
Where are you at, Jonathan? What are protocol experts? All right. All right. I got it on record, and I'll put an email out, and where you can go and review the video so that you can have your question ready for next week's session. With that said, we're going to sign off for now. It's been a pleasure.
Peace.
Peace.
Yep, y'all have a good one.